Something clicked while observing the way this Black Indigenous origin rhetoric is moving through the internet right now. It doesn't just sound like an argument anymore. It has a wardrobe, it has lighting, it has captions, it has formatted language, it has ancient looking graphics, it has legal sounding confidence, it has that red carpet certainty like the claim got dressed for an event it was never qualified to attend. That is what threw me. The comprehension did not get corrected, it got styled. The collapse came back dressed like documentation, dressed like archaeology, dressed like sovereignty, dressed like lineage, dressed like hidden history. Yet underneath all that presentation, the same problem is sitting there. The framework was never questioned. The distinction was never preserved. The correction never happened. Now the collapse in comprehension is circulating with better optics. A lot of people ain't using AI for correction. They're using it for reinforcement. They ain't going into AI asking, is this true? Where did I collapse the category? What am I assuming? What does lineage actually mean? What does anthropology actually say? What does archaeology actually support? What evidence connects this claim to reality? They're going in with certainty, with suspicion, with mistrust, with fragments, with recycled rhetoric, with the claim they already want to protect. Then they ask AI to build around it. So AI builds. It gives the claim shape. It gives the language structure. It gives the image drama. It gives the caption authority. It gives the rhetoric a clean room to stand in. And then the person receives that output like something was confirmed, yet nothing was corrected. That's the part. The collapse didn't get corrected. They got acquired information coming back as intelligence. They call it artificial intelligence. And in this case, the name fits because the intelligence is artificial when correction never enters the exchange. The machine acquires what the human being brings to it. It acquires the language already circulating, the patterns already circulating, the suspicion already circulating, the instability already moving through the digital environment. So when the human being brings collapsed comprehension into AI without asking for correction, the machine works with the collapse. It arranges it, formats it, hands it back. And because it comes back organized, the human being receives the collapse as intelligence. That's why this is bigger than a graphic. The graphic is only the surface. The caption is only the surface. The clean layout is only the surface. The real question is what the human being brought to the tool and what the human being refused to ask the tool to check. Because if you never question the framework, you keep reproducing the same structure. You can change the language, change the image, change the caption, change the aesthetic, make the post look ancient, make the words sound legal, make the claim feel spiritual, dress it in sovereignty, dress it in lineage, dress it in hidden history. Yet, if the structure underneath is still sorting, separating, ranking, claiming, possessing, and displacing, the structure didn't change. It learned how to present itself better. That distinction matters because when people cannot distinguish correction from reinforcement, they mistake production for proof, mistake arrangement for research, mistake confidence for clarity. That's how the rabbit hole opens. A prompt becomes a doorway. The answer becomes another doorway. Now there is an image. Now there is a caption. Now there's a date. Now there is a legal phrase. Now there's a sovereignty claim. Now there is a whole world being generated around a thought that was never corrected at the root. And because every door feels connected, Alice in Wonderland starts feeling like research. Yet a rabbit hole is still a rabbit hole, even with graphics, even with citations, even with captions, even with a polished paragraph, even with a generated image, standing there like it uncovered something. That's the danger of using AI for reinforcement instead of correction. It can make the emotional reward feel like evidence. The suspicion gets to feel researched. The mistrust gets to feel validated. The insecurity gets to feel ancestral. The need for dignity gets to feel documented. The desire to belong gets to feel like origin. And when that feeling gets rewarded, correction starts feeling like an attack. That's how propaganda becomes easier to produce. You think propaganda has to come from somewhere like Russia or China or some government agency or some outside source. Yet propaganda also has a function. It shapes perception. It intensifies suspicion. It creates separation. It repeats unstable claims with confident language. It gives people material that reinforces what they already want to believe. So when you take collapsed comprehension into AI for reinforcement, receive artificial intelligence, and then take that output back to the internet as truth, you are participating in the same function of propaganda. You are helping the echo chamber get louder. You're helping the separation get sharper. You are helping the rhetoric move with more confidence than the evidence deserves. And then people turn around asking why the separation exists. Separation ain't a mystery. It is a signal, because in this material, the structure is separation, even when the intention sounds like liberation. The structure is dominance and supremacy, even when the language sounds ancestral. The structure is displacement, even when the image looks ancient. The structure is possession, even when the claim says sovereignty. That's the part people keep missing. The construct doesn't disappear because Black people are using it. Dominance and supremacy shows up through race, through class, through nationalism, through origin claims, status claims, hierarchy, possession, and displacement, through the need to be first, the need to be original, the need to be chosen, the need to turn uncertainty into status, the need to possess land by displacing another people. That ain't liberation. That is imitation. And AI will not automatically save you from that. AI will not automatically preserve the distinction for you. AI will not automatically stop you from reproducing the same ineffective structure. You have to ask for correction. You have to ask where the framework collapsed. You have to ask where the language outran the evidence. You have to ask where the image became more convincing than the claim deserved. You have to ask whether you are seeking truth or reinforcement, because those ain't the same thing. And the difference is visible. The rest of us can see it. We can see when the claim got dressed up and not examined. We can see when the language was formatted and the logic stayed unstable. We can see when the image looks polished and the distinction is missing. We can see when the output is organized and the comprehension is still collapsed. That's why this stood out to me. The echo chamber didn't get louder because the logic got stronger. It got louder because the collapse got styled. It got packaged. It got generated. It got handed back as artificial intelligence. And now people are taking that artificial intelligence back to the internet and calling it proof. That ain't clarity. That ain't scholarship. That ain't truth. That is acquired information returning human collapse as artificial intelligence.